Just like that, it's time for Symposium again. Spring Symposium is happening right now, so thank you for taking the time to sit and let us tell you everything you need to know about what's been going on around campus. I'm Owen, and making her official laser-exclusive debut, not including the April Fool's edition that is Gabby Bertoldi.
Thanks, Owen. I'm thrilled to be here. We have a full episode here today. We will dive into the upcoming Queer Prom, the return of Torchlight, and a quick recap of Marathon Monday, among other stories. We will also hear about the sports landscape from Laser Sports Update and talk with Decca on a special feature of Between Two Torches. Let's begin with the debut of Queer Prom.
Thanks, Gabby. For the first time ever, LU Pride is hosting the Queer Prom. This event has all the joys of a regular prom, but with one caveat. It is 100% inclusive to anyone and everyone. This magical celebration will take place at DeWitt this Friday from 7 to 11 p.m. Let us take a chance to acknowledge and celebrate the diversity here on campus. All are welcome, including faculty, alumni, members of the LGBTQ+ community, and their allies. Feel free in the next 24 hours to send any questions to Dana Tilton.
Marathon Monday just ran through campus last week for the beloved LaSalle event. The last time that the marathon was run on its regularly scheduled time was in 2019, when I was a freshman in college and Owen here was in the middle of high school. The marathon is a way for students to celebrate and have fun with their peers while cheering on the runners. During the marathon, the students went to enjoy a party in the Arnell Quad, hosted by WLAS. 3 women ran in stride for most of the race, but Perez Jepchirchir took the victory, finishing in 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 1 second. The men's runner, Evans Chebet of Kenya, finished first in the men's category in 2 hours and 6 minutes and 51 seconds.
Speaking of intense athletic competition, let's turn it over to Taylor Viles with Laser Sports Update.
Thanks, Owen. It's hard to believe, but the spring season is already wrapping up with playoffs set to begin shortly. I'm Taylor Viles, here to host my final episode of Laser Sports Update before I graduate and head into the professional world. Let's begin with the softball team. They had a busy weekend of home games, but unfortunately came out on the losing end of all of them. The Lasers played Simmons on Saturday and came up short 4-1 and 10-1 respectively. Sunday was senior day. The LaSalle honored Kelsey Scanavan and Brianna Gendreau before they faced off against Dean College, and unfortunately those ended up in losses as well, 7-6 and 10-9. Home runs were plenty this season for the Lasers, 14 of them they hit this season. Katie Hopkins with half. She hit 7 home runs. Playoffs are unlikely for this team, but they have many young, good players that look to contribute in the future. The men's baseball team had a good weekend, splitting their doubleheaders against Anna Maria and Norwich. This young team has impressed this season, especially on the pitching side of things. They rank 3rd in the GNAC with a 5.22 ERA and have allowed the 3rd least home runs, with 4. Both of those stats are taking into account GNAC conference opponents only. The Lasers are currently tied for 2nd in the conference and look to host a home playoff game next week. Now let's get to the hottest spring team this season. That, of course, is the men's lacrosse team. They have been nothing short of dominant since conference play began. Having won 9 straight games as of Wednesday morning, it is their first place spot to give up, but it is also Norwich's spot to give up. Both teams were undefeated in the conference when they faced off against each other on Wednesday at Grelier Field. But that came after this filming. The winner will take the 1 seed. By the time you're seeing this, you will know who won that game. If it was LaSalle, they will have the home field advantage throughout the playoffs. But if not, the 2 seed is still a pretty great spot. It's been another stellar season for senior goaltender Alex Boscheman, who is 4th in the conference in save percentage. Needing to win 3 out of their final 4 games to make the playoffs, the women's lacrosse team was able to get things going with 2 victories over Riviere and Elms, both on the road. In the wins, Teresa Kessner struck gold with a total of 15 points to set the pace. Goalie Devin Zambruno got back on track, stopping 61% of the shots she faced. Now sitting in the 7th seed, the Lasers are set to face off against 6th place Emmanuel and last place Albertus Magnus. Playoffs are still on the table, so don't give up yet. Now it's time for our 3 stars of the week. Our 3rd star of the week this week is Teresa Kessner of the women's lacrosse team, who I just mentioned. In her last 3 games now, Kessner has tallied 11 goals and 6 assists for the team and was a large force contributing to those 2 victories. Our 2nd star of the week is Matt Bischoff, the senior for the baseball team. Bischoff set a LaSalle career home run record with 10 home runs. And our 1st star of the week is Brady McKechnie on the men's outdoor track and field team. McKechnie was named GNAC Rookie of the Week for the first time this past week, and he has finished first in the 110 hurdles, 400 hurdles, and 4x100 relay, where the team set the school record. Well, that is all for this segment of Laser Sports Update. It has been a pleasure bringing you LaSalle sporting news over the last 4 years. This studio and this show will always be my home and my roots. If you want to follow me after graduation, I'll be moving up to Burlington, Vermont to become the weekend sports anchor and reporter at WFFFWVNY. Feel free to follow my Instagram and Twitter, both at tviles88, to follow along as I begin my career. I wish luck to the Lasers in this year's playoffs and in their bright future. There are so many teams to follow over the next few years, and I'm excited to see what they do. For the last time, I'm Taylor Viles. Go Lasers, and I'll turn it back over to Gabby and Owen.
Thanks, Taylor. Later tonight, Studio 1851 presents Joshua Sweet's Covered in Roses concert out in the Arnold Quad from 7 to 9 p.m. Not only will Sweet perform, but also Wissy and the LaSalle Pole Stamps team will make special appearances. Make sure to clear your calendars for what should be a fun night.
Tomorrow, the LaSalle Black Student Association is throwing a block party on Maple Street. Our very own Juliana DeMiro interviewed a club leader to give you more information.
Thanks, Gabby. I'm here with Jasmine Stevens, the program chair for BSA. So, Jasmine, could you tell me a little bit about BSA, what it's all about for some students who might be unaware of the club?
Sure. So BSA was mostly started as a club to give minorities, mainly Black students at LaSalle, a safe space to talk about their problems when it comes to racial inequity or like socioeconomic status, things like that, or just to, hang out, have a community within the minorities at LaSalle.
So you have the block party coming up on Friday. So what can we expect to see at the block party?
So the block party, we mainly put that together because, we're nearing finals and everybody needs a way to kind of just decompress, right? So if you've ever been to a block party growing up or just a neighborhood party type thing, those are the vibes that we're trying to bring. We're giving people a reason to, dress up if they want to. The theme is 90s/Y2K.
Okay.
And we'll have basic games that we had when we were kids. You can do hopscotch if you want to. We're gonna have a myriad of games, and we're also gonna have some vendors. So bring money, because
that sounds like a lot of fun. Is this something that you guys want to try to continue in the next, the following years?
Since we just started this semester, we're trying to just, lay footwork for how we want everything to go. So we had the gala previously. That's something that we would want to do annually. And if this goes really well and people want it again, then we'll also try to make this an annual thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll definitely stop by. It sounds like it's going to be a really good time. Back to you guys in the studio.
Want an opportunity to see the Laser community showcase their talents and achievements? Then look no further. On April 30th, come and see the LU dance team end of season showcase. They will show the diverse talents of what the community has to offer. This event will be taking place in DeWitt Hall, so don't miss out.
On May 3rd, LaSalle's annual Torchlight Parade will be taking place for the first time since 2019. This tradition dates back to the 1800s. Today, students use it as a last farewell for the seniors to march down Woodland Road and pass their torch to underclassmen. This represents the underclassmen carrying on the seniors' legacy here at LaSalle.
Lately, there has been some controversy surrounding this tradition. Students marching with torches could bear resemblance to events such as the White Supremacist March in Charleston. Students are suggesting a change, such as walking down the street with lanterns. While there has been no change to the event, the discussion has begun. Our Zach LeWare has sat down with James Perry to discuss this issue and hear his thoughts.
I'm sitting down with Mr. James Perry, the Associate Director of Equity and Inclusive Initiatives at LaSalle. So next week coming up, Mr. Perry, we have Torchlight. Torchlight has been usually an annual event here at LaSalle every year. And with that being said, a lot has gone on about possibly changing things this year about how things are normally made up with Torchlight. Usually, a graduating senior passes down a torch to an underclassman, and they thought about changing that up, basically based on like racial similarities to certain things, so they compare it to Charlestown and things like that. Do you think that there should be any changes made to Torchlight?
So the short answer I would say is yes. I think there are ways to still symbolize our history as far as what Torchlight means, and how students can sort of pass the torch on to a student who is younger, who they want to have that sort of those moments with, but recognizing that sort of what the history is with tiki torches in recent years, as you mentioned, what happened in Charlottesville, how that can make certain students feel, I think is important to acknowledge. And again, we can still have the same sort of action, but just having it be a different, something different that they're holding.
And our other question is, since you've started at LaSalle, how would you say that would you say that the talks on race have improved since you started here?
So for me, I only started here in December of 2021, so it's only been about 5 months. But from what I can see at this point, LaSalle has a sort of universal institutional commitment to engaging in these discussions and working towards change, which I completely admire and I think is important. And it's a good start. Seeing kind of how a full semester has played out now at this time, I think we're going in the right direction. And of course, there's always room for improvement.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Perry. Very appreciate it. I'm Zach Lair with LCTV. Back to you guys.
Now let's go to Mike Baruch with Between Two Torches, who is sitting down with DECA's Victoria Savluk.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Between Two Torches. My name is Michael Maruk and I'm joined here today with DECA President Victoria Savluk and VP of DECA Megan Chonger. How are you guys doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. They're here today to talk about the Distributive Education Clubs of America, also known as DECA. Care to explain a little bit about what DECA does and what it's all about?
Yeah, so DECA is a business and fashion-based club that we have here at LaSalle. We were established back in 2020. The main thing we do are these competitions both at the state and the international level. We just got back from the international competition in Baltimore, Maryland at the beginning of April, where we did very, very well. But DECA also has a lot of other leadership opportunities and scholarship opportunities as well that definitely students can tap into.
Awesome. So what kind of opportunities do you guys get from doing these different events and traveling?
A lot of networking, I would say, especially, the two of us were both in two different sort of sets of like business majors, and, we both did go to Baltimore, but we both did have two different experiences in Baltimore, I would say, so.
Yeah, it takes like what you learn in the classroom and it applies it to real life situations, and it's a great resume booster. So it's really nice meeting people from all over the world and networking with them and just, using what you've learned all these years and taking it with you into your career.
So you were talking about competitions. What's that typically look like? You said there's dress code, you get like all formal. Is it kind of like a debate club or like kind of like a Model UN situation?
Somewhat. It's more, I know for me personally, I know Megan had a different experience with her competition. for mine specifically, you're given a case study the day of your competition. You don't know what it is beforehand. You don't know any of the criteria on it beforehand, and you have 30 minutes to prep that case study. So you have, questions to answer. You're given, a background of like the company, you're the accountant for, like the marketing intern for, stuff like that. And you have different key performance indicators that you have to hit on in order to get, all the points to accumulate for your score. And then from there, you would determine your placement amongst other students in your category. And when choosing a category, you don't have to pick something within your major. So like I'm an accounting major, so I chose accounting, but like I could have picked, marketing, entrepreneurship. I could have picked fashion, for example. So you can really sort of pick and choose whatever you want to go into. But it's more of like a role play, and you're sitting across from a judge and you're sort of put in the shoes of like an actual business professional.
And then with mine, they're a little bit different. So I do a paper and a presentation, which is prepared. So I had to do a 15-page paper for it, and then I presented my idea to a judge. So I was in starting your own business. I'm a marketing major, but I like the whole entrepreneurship, starting your own business kind of section, so I went with that. But there's only a few categories you could do for papers and presentations in that aspect. So I was actually the only one in Massachusetts who competed doing a written event.
So yeah, you guys travel a lot, and you took away a lot of awards, as we can see right here. So you came back from Baltimore. That's really cool. Have you been anywhere else other than Baltimore, or is that just like where their headquarters is?
So with the international competition, they hold it in, I want to say like 5 or 6 different locations that they sort of like rotate through. So this past year it was in Baltimore. The year before we all qualified, but we are unfortunately online, so we did online competitions like over Zoom and everything like that. So this was the first time we went to Baltimore, and it was a lot better when it came to actually meeting faces and speaking to people from these different states and coming from all these different backgrounds. Compared to being online, it was just you did your event and that was pretty much it. But next year they're holding the international competition in Orlando, Florida, near the Disney parks. So that's pretty exciting.
What awards? It seems like you took away 3rd place out of all. That sounds really exciting.
Yes, so that is the 3rd place glass. That is actually Megan's from Entrepreneurship Starting a Business. And we got another 3rd place award from Julian Nangle, who was in Travel and Tourism, which is a hospitality-based event. Then we have the qualifier medals that we won in February when we were at the Massachusetts qualifying conference at Stonehill. And this is my top 10 finalist in financial accounting medal. This guy back here is the top 20 medal that I got after the first round, and then that silver one is actually from me having one of the highest test scores during the first round of competition while taking the finance exam. So,
wow, yes. That's really cool. And then lastly, do you have anything else you'd like to mention about DECA, or like any plans you have for the future down the line?
Yeah, so we hope to add a lot more events, especially we want to focus in the fall semester. Since our spring semesters were really driven with the competitions, but we really want to add back in, like we did the LinkedIn one, we want to probably do that one again, recruit more members. I know that we have been promoting on our other social medias, trying to get our name out there, and I actually had the opportunity to talk with some prospective students at LaSalle Day about joining next year, and so I'm hoping that we can get new members and try different scholarship opportunities.
I'm going to end it off here. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you next time on Between Two Torches. I've been Michael Marouk, and these have been the wonderful candidates, President and Vice President Victoria Savlock and Megan Chonger from DECA. Hope you have a great day.
Thanks, Mike and Victoria. LaSalle School of Fashion's annual fashion show will be on Saturday, May 7th at 7 p.m. Better known as Runway, the event gives a glimpse into the work that LaSalle's fashion students are capable of. These students have been working on their projects for several months, and the event is an opportunity to celebrate their successes and hard work.
It's going to be the first time in Runway history that the event will be hosted virtually and in person. Doors will be opening at 6:15 in the Athletic Center, and guests must be able to provide proof of vaccination. Tickets for the event are on sale at lasalle.universitytickets.com.
That is all for Spring Symposium Special. We hope you enjoy the rest of Symposium. I'm Owen Quett.
And I'm Gabby Bertoldi. Look out for our final episode of the year next week. Thanks!